Now, it is understood King Charles told both of his sons personally about his diagnosis. Understandable that. Just hours later, as we've been hearing, Prince Harry jetted into town for what seems to be a very brief reunion. So what now? As Sarah was just describing there, Prince William returns to public duties tomorrow after Kate's recent procedure. Is a visit to his brother on his list of engagements? William is due to hand out honours at an investiture ceremony at Windsor Castle, and at the moment we understand he has no plans to see his brother Harry. But with the Duke of Sussex potentially staying just 2 miles away, as Sarah was describing there, in that empty Frogmore cottage, will we see old rifts rise to the surface, or will it be an opportunity to build bridges instead? Let's go now to Robert Jobson, royal biographer and author of Our King, The Man and the Monarch Revealed. Thank you, sir, for making time this evening. Give us your take then, because everyone has a different kind of perspective on where we're at with Harry and William at the moment. Do you think this rift is just irreconcilable?
Well, firstly, I think that he probably took it upon himself to come to England at such short notice. The King probably just wanted a rest and didn't probably need all the bells and whistles and speculation that him coming over has created. So he probably would have preferred if Harry had come another time and not at such short notice, but he took it upon himself to do it. As for William, I don't see any reconciliation on or any meeting on the cards happening. There's been no real contact between them, and a lot of water's gone under the bridge, but doesn't necessarily mean that there's been reconciliation.
You actually wrote today, one step further, that Prince Harry's visit is an unwelcome distraction. Tell us why you think that.
Well, I think at the moment the most important thing is the King's health, and that's all there is to it, and him resting and not having any dramas. When Harry comes down lately, ever since he decided to leave, there's always a circus that comes with that, and with that circus there's bells and whistles and the questions: where's he staying, what's he going to do next, is he going to see William, what did he say did he reconcile with the Queen, did he reconcile with the King? And the whole story becomes about Harry, and with the greatest respect, the story is about King, and it's about the King's health, and surely it's about him getting well. And I know that, like any son, he probably wanted to just come and give his dad a hug, but there's been an awful lot of damaging things that have been alleged, not least claims of racism, claims of bullying, claims of all sorts of things against the royal family, which most of it has been unfounded. And it's all been coming from Harry and his wife. So just because he turns up, you shouldn't necessarily believe it's all with open arms.
Indeed. Look, I'm with you that this is the story about the King. It's about his health and everything else. I'm also not one of the types of journalists to speculate about what is going on. The palace has said they don't want speculation. King Charles has said, I'm letting you know I've got cancer, so there won't be speculation about the kind of cancer, though I do understand there will necessarily be people who want to know exactly what kind. However, the speed with which Harry came over once the news was made public, people have been reading into that. Do you think it's fair?
Well, there you are. That's precisely what I'm saying, is that really that's why I'm sure the King would have preferred if he didn't coming straight over, because what it's led to is all sorts of wild speculation, which you've seen on social media, which is, it is probably wrong. And the very fact that he has come straight over has added to that heightened sense of that this is a lot worse than perhaps it really is.
Let's talk then about the heir, the next in line, William, who has got an awful lot on his plate at the moment, as far as royal duties go, and his wife being in recovery and the rest of it. What does this all mean for him filling it? Are we going to see a lot more of him?
Well, we live in a constitutional monarchy, a parliamentary democracy, and that really the only key figure in the royal family that matters is the King or the Queen regnant or the King. And that really is the person that carries out the constitutional obligations. As it stands, the King will continue to do that. And as it stands, he will be capable of doing that and also having his weekly audience with the Prime Minister. Certain things that the heir to the throne can do and step in and assist, as Charles did for the late Queen, were, should it be necessary, he could stand in on overseas trips. Should it be necessary, he could stand in on the state opening in Parliament and things like that. But the reality is that's not really necessary at this moment in time. He may well stand in for, if there's an ambassador that's got new credentials that they need to be presented, and that's a face-to-face meeting. But in terms of real standing up, stepping up and helping the king, he would just carry on doing things rather like Princess Anne did today, which was to do the investiture, and then she went off and carried out a series of engagements. But the investiture, which is what William will be doing tomorrow morning, is the sort of thing that would have been shared anyway and has been shared for some time, but since the late Queen Elizabeth was finding it difficult to do a lot of her duties. So I think that there shouldn't be, at the moment, the king is conducting himself and carrying out his role as a constitutional monarch, and I think that's what he will continue to do. All this talk about abdication and whatever is at the moment is complete irrelevance. It's not really going to happen. And if such a situation happened that the king felt that he couldn't carry on his duties, or he wasn't mentally or physically able to, we have a statute in place, the Regency Act, which would come into place, and then William would become the Prince Regent. The king would still be the king. There's going to be no abdications or anything like that. I think that a lot of wrong speculation is being made of that.
There is an awful lot of speculation out there. Just at large, royal biographer Robert Jobson, thank you very much for joining us.